and I am the Senior International Officer recruiting students from the Middle East and North Africa at University for the Creative Arts, which is in the southeast of England. And we are a university that isn't restricted by one location, so we actually have 4 different campuses. So that's what's slightly different about us compared to a lot of other universities in the UK. You know, you'll hear of University of Sheffield, for example, or University of wherever that are specified to a specific town. But I'll show you, we've got 4 different campuses and they are dotted around the southeast of England. So let me start sharing my screen, and I will start with the PowerPoint presentation. So just bear with me while I bring that up. All right. Can everyone see the presentation? I'm about to make it full screen. Great. Yeah. Thanks, Hisham. Yeah, perfect. All right. So yeah, I've already talked about who we are and where we're based. I'll go more into detail about the exact campuses and locations in a bit. So let me start off with talking about what sort of career can you go into. Now, I imagine as university students, some of you might be alumni or you might be studying bachelor at the moment. You've probably got a fair idea about what creative industries you could go into. But here is, you know, a sort of a summary of the sort of jobs that you can go into. And something that I would say about the creative industries is that whereas it's very different from a traditional, you know, if you go into medicine, you know, you're probably going to be a doctor. If you go into engineering, you'll be an engineer. With the creative industries, it's a very fluid, fast-moving and non-traditional sector, as you probably already know, which means a lot of the jobs that you may go into in the future are actually not on this slide here. And for example, 15 years ago, would we know what a YouTuber or a social influencer is? Probably not. So, well, definitely not. I think YouTube started in 2004. So, you know, that's just an example of the sort of things that you can go into later on. They're actually jobs that haven't been invented yet. And as you can see here on the screen, you know, some other exciting jobs: mobile app developer, fashion designer, graphic designer. I'm not going to read them all out, but, you know, there's a whole range of things that you can go into. And it's a booming industry, not just in the UK, but it's growing now in the Middle East. So I'm sure you already know that, you know, in the Middle East, traditionally, some subjects, especially in the creative sector, may have been frowned upon, may have been seen as not proper jobs, like being a doctor or an engineer, but now things are changing. And I've really seen that by talking to students in the region, and there is a lot of potential now, and there are a lot of there are a lot of creative careers arising in the Middle East, where you know, there's more recognition of the subjects and the things that are developing. And in the UK, it's also booming, and I'm going to go into a bit of that just now. So just talking about the UK, the business of creativity. 3.2 million jobs in the UK are in the creative economy, and that was according to a figure in 2018. And 1 in 8 jobs are in the UK are in the creative economy, and that's gone up from 1 in 11 from the presentation that I was giving, this presentation last year. So the creative industries are growing at almost 5 times the rate of the wider UK economy, and they're worth a staggering £111.7 billion a year. So we've got a little Venn diagram here, so it might just sort of put things into perspective. Just under 1 million jobs are in the UK are non-creative support jobs within the creative industries. About 1 million are creative occupations within the creative industries. So that would be, for example, a film producer in a film company. And C here, we've got just over 1 million in creative occupations outside the creative industry. So that would be perhaps a marketing manager in a technology company. So a creative job, but in an industry that is not a creative industry, like technology, for example, although there is crossover, etc. But that's just an example. And you can see on the right here, that 47%, so almost 50% of all jobs in the UK, so almost 50% of jobs, creative jobs in the UK are concentrated in London and the Southeast, which is exactly where our campuses are. So our campuses are, I'll go into it in a bit more detail later, but we are just around this arc here, if you can see my cursor, just outside of London, within commuting distance. So why University for the Creative Arts? We are the #1 creative specialist university in the UK, according to the Complete University Guide and the Guardian University League Table, and that's the most recent league tables. We are the top 5 of all modern universities in the UK, and that's according to the Complete University Guide 2021. And we have a business school for the creative industries in our campus in Epsom, which is the first of its kind in the UK, because it's actually the first business school that offer business courses solely for the creative industries. So 7th in the UK for that, which is pretty good considering there are about 140 universities in the UK. So, and that's the most recent Guardian League table as well. And we have a teaching excellence framework of GOLD, which is a sort of measurement that the government uses to assess the teaching excellence in universities in the UK. And obviously GOLD is the top out of 3 different bands. And I can say that is not an easy accolade to achieve. That is quite an achievement. And that is down to our academics, of course, and also our multi-million-pound facilities. And what I can say about the facilities at UCA is that all the revenue that we generate is reinvested into those creative art and design facilities. Unlike other universities that have many different disciplines in different subjects like medicine, economics, history, etc., we just specialize in art and design. So all the revenue we generate goes straight back into those facilities that we've got. And I'm going to show you a few photos of those a bit later on in further slides. Yeah, so let's move on to the next one. So our campuses, you can see here, we've got the first one, which is University for Creative Arts Farnham, which is where my office is based. I'll talk a bit more about each one in a bit, but just a summary, we've got Farnham and Epsom, which are both in Surrey. You can see Epsom is a lot closer to London. It's about half an hour in the train, great for job opportunities. And this is where our business school for the creative industries is based. And we've got, off the top of my mind, Hisham for filmmaking, we've got, I believe is in Farnham. Yes, it is, it's in Farnham. So something to look out for filmmaking if you're interested in that. And we've got fashion at Farnham and Epsom. And some other subjects, they're dotted around the 4 campuses. So the other 2 campuses, we've got Rochester and Canterbury. They are both in Kent. Anyone thinking of doing architecture, that is in Canterbury. And all of these campuses are under an hour and a half from a major London airport. And they're all within commuting distance of London as well. We've got 2 other centres. These aren't campuses, they're centres. And I'm going to sort of not go into too much detail about those because they offer 1 course each, and those courses are undergraduate courses. So not relevant, but there's something interesting I'll tell you a bit later on about the Royal School of Needlework, which you might like to hear. So firstly, Farnham. This is where my office is. I am working from home today, of course, but when I do go into the office, it's a lovely, lovely town. It's in Surrey, which is a very lovely green, leafy part of the UK. It's just under an hour in the train and taxi from London. And it's got lovely Georgian architecture as well. And the courses that we've got at Farnham, you can have a look here. I'll just pick out a few, but do glance over the list. You can see we've got film and television, fine art, graphic design, and performing arts as well here too. And these are just a few of our facilities that we've got. You can see the library space in the top left picture there, and which looks like TV production studios or perhaps film production equipment in the top right there. So Epsom is on the doorstep of London. It's very close to London, of course. It is also has our business school for the creative industries. It's great for job opportunities as well because it's so close to London. And here we also have fashion and graphic design too. Just to mention, these are subject areas rather than courses. I will show you where you can find exact courses, precise, courses that you can do a bit in a little bit. A few more photos there, more of fashion photos, our fashion sort of workspaces here. Rochester is a new hub for the creative industries and a historic cathedral town, and it has the high-speed rail link to London St Pancras in 35 minutes, and it offers a range of exceptional facilities as well. The subjects that we have here are computer animation arts, graphic design, theatre design, fashion and textiles, acting as well, and fashion media and promotion. And the fashion media and promotion is actually in our business school. It's fashion media and promotion. That would not be a business subject, that would be fashion subject as well. All right, so a few of our facilities there. And Canterbury is a beautiful, it's a beautiful city. It's got amazing architecture, which is quite handy if you want to do an architecture course, because you can get a lot of inspiration and research from the town itself. It's got lovely ancient charm as well. And our architecture courses here, of course, as well as fine art, graphic design, just to name a few of the subject areas that we offer there. So these are the two that, they offer undergraduate courses. The interesting thing that I wanted to talk about was the Royal School of Needlework is actually in Hampton Court Palace, which, if any of you have heard of, is Henry VIII's and his six wives, sorry. That was his residence. It's a lovely location on the Thames, and the Royal School of Needlework is actually in that palace. And they actually made the lace, the veil, and the shoes for Kate Middleton, Duchess of Cambridge, during her wedding 9 years ago. And they didn't know who it was for until they saw it on television. So just an interesting fact there. Like all universities, we have a students' union. What I can say that's probably different about our university in terms of student unions compared to other universities is that you will be with like-minded students who like creative arts, etc. And what that means is there's going to be more societies that focus on these things, like Animation Society, Illustration Society, Meme Society, for example. But we've also, you can see in the photos there, we've got a lot more to offer in terms of sport and all sorts of other things that you would expect at a university as well. So, we've got library and student services. I'll just go over this quickly because it's sort of something that you would expect at university, but we do offer help in the careers and employability. So we could help you find a work placement perhaps after you study, or any part-time jobs, for example. And something I'd like to add is that all universities in the UK, when you graduate, you can now have the option to stay on for 2 years in the UK, so a 2-year post-study work visa, for you to work in any job that you want to. We'd obviously encourage you to do it in a job that you actually are employed to do, but you actually are what's the word I'm looking for? A job that you are going into, that you are qualified to do. But actually the post-study work visa does allow you to do any job that you want for 2 years after you graduate. So that's something really positive about the UK, which you can come in once you graduate, stay on for 2 years and get a job. And then hopefully after that, if you find someone to sponsor you, you could stay on indefinitely. We have student finance as well that can help with financial matters, of course, academic support, counselling, disability support, and library resources as well. And from our international student support department, what we can offer is airport pickup service, and that's on designated dates. International admissions team who focus just on international applications, and they will help with sort of the prerequisite to a visa, which is called a CAS, confirmation of acceptance of studies, and that's a CAS number that you get that leads on to a visa. For example, we have a specialist advisor on every campus to support with your time at UCA, student wardens in the accommodation, and I'll talk a bit more about accommodation in a bit. Gateway services for technical support, and a visa compliance officer as well to help with the very complex, sometimes very complex visa inquiries. We've got someone to help with that too. So like I was saying before, here is the breakdown of the subjects that we offer at UCA. Now, these are not individual courses, but these are the categories that all of our courses fall under. So we've got architecture, business, fashion, film, graphic design, marketing, promotion and management, which falls under the business school, media and journalism, photography, and performing arts, and some others there that I didn't mention, but you can see them there. So, you know, anything you're interested in, we can have a chat after the presentation, and I can show you the specific course webpage where you can have a look in more detail about the specific course and also how to apply, things like that. So what I was going to do from here actually is just show you how to get onto the our website. So if you were to go to the homepage of University for the Creative Arts and go to Study at UCA, find a course, and then you would filter it out here to postgraduate. Now we also do offer PhD as well. So for that, you would go to postgraduate research, and it's the only one that's in that, that will filter down for that one. But for all postgraduate taught courses, you just put it in there. You could filter out to subject if you are more sure, but if you wanted to see everything, you could do find courses, and here we've got all the postgraduate courses that we offer. And it tells you which campus it's at. And if you were to go into it in more detail, for example, if I was to click into graphic design, you would then find everything you need to know about the subject. And also, you know, you can have a breakdown here in what is offered, facilities, the program director. Now, I would ask you to come to me for any, you know, application queries, anything you need help with. You could come to me and I'll share my my work phone, which I can be reached on WhatsApp as well, and email. I'll share that a bit later on. But anything very technical about the course, for example, what sort of computer programming are we going to use if it has, like, for graphic design, for example, then you would ask the program director. And there is also, if you were to go at the top of the page and you do apply now, international and EU applications, that would be you. And then you would apply for either February or September 2021, and you go into there, and then it creates a portal where you can then progress with your application. Some of our courses actually have a February start. So if anyone is interested in February 2021 start, do let me know after the session and I'll check whether the course you're interested in is being offered. But usually it's a September intake for all of the other courses. So let me go back to the presentation. So that is a great way that you can sort of learn more about the subjects that you are interested in. All right, so just going into a bit more about our business school for the creative industries. Like I said, it's the only one of its kind in the UK, and it's number 7 in the UK for business. You can ignore the undergraduate courses because I understand that you are all interested in postgraduate. So you can have a look here. We've got all of these subjects. We've got Master of Business Administration, Executive MBA. We've got all sorts of other subjects, Fashion, Business and Management. So, you know, a bit of fashion and business mixed together, which sounds really interesting. And business design, for example. So something to look into if you're interested in the business side of the creative industries. Now I'm going to skip over that. That is not actually relevant for you. But this one might be. So what I can say about anyone studying at AUC who wants to come to do a postgraduate degree at University for the Creative Arts, in terms of what you need to be eligible to study with us, we just need you to have a pass in a bachelor's from AUC. So we recognize AUC as, you know, one of the universities we recognize in the region. And that means we accept a bachelor, any pass in a bachelor to go to any of our courses. Now there is an exception for one course, and that is for architecture. And what we ask for that is the equivalent of a 2-1 in a UK degree. And that might not mean much to you. And it's actually a fairly complex thing to get done. So if anyone is interested in architecture and you want to apply, get in touch with me. You'll send me your transcripts, and then I check with admissions, and they have a check as to whether your qualification is equivalent to a 2-1 in a UK system. But apart from architecture, any course that you want to do at UCA at postgraduate level, all you need to have is a pass at AUC at bachelor degree level. Now, if you are doing a subject that is relevant to the subject in the postgrad at UCA, University for the Creative Arts, then you also need to do a portfolio as well for any of our postgraduate courses. If you're doing a relevant degree and your portfolio shows that you have the capability, you can go straight into a master's. Now, if you're doing a degree that's in a different background, you'll also need to do a portfolio. If your portfolio doesn't satisfy, it all depends on the portfolio. If your portfolio of work doesn't show that you have the potential to go straight into a master's, then you'll have to do a graduate diploma. And that's the screen you can see now. And that's what we call a pre-master's. So a pre-master's is a 1-year course, and you would do that as a pathway to get onto the master's. So I hope I've explained it clearly. If anyone's got any doubts or questions, just let me know as soon as I finish the presentation, and I'll clarify that for you. But to summarize, if you have a pass at a bachelor at AUC and it's in a relevant subject and you demonstrate that in your portfolio, you can do a master's straight away at UCA. If it's in a different subject area and your portfolio isn't strong enough to show that you can go straight into a master's, you'll then do a pre-master's instead. So instead of a 1-year master's at UCA, you'll then do a pre-master's as well, which will make it 2 years. And all of our master's degrees are 1 year long, except for the Master of Architecture, which is 2 years. That's the only exception. English language requirements. The great thing is that as you studied at AUC, and you have studied in the English language, of course, because you're following an American system, you would not need to do an IELTS or any other English language proficiency to come to UCA. So all we would ask is that you have studied or you have graduated within 2 years of starting your master's at UCA, and that's all we would ask. So no English test required. And as I said, you'll need a portfolio as well. This is both for the graduate diploma, the one you can see on the screen now, and also for a master's degree. You'll need a portfolio of work. Now it's talking about IELTS here on this screen. Don't worry about that. If you studied at AUC, you won't need to do an IELTS. This is available in Farnham and Epsom, so 2 different campuses. I believe the business one will be in Epsom, we're at our business school. Actually, I'm sure of that, that is the case. And the art, design and media would be at Farnham. We have February and September starts for this. And you can see the course cost there. I'll show you course costs for the other sort of subject levels that we offer in a bit. And this is 30 weeks. So that's, to you and me, that's 1 year, basically 1 year of study. That's 30 weeks full time. So how to apply? Now, ignore anything here that talks about UCAS. So I'll go over this quickly. As postgraduate students, you don't go through UCAS, you apply directly, and you can see that on the website. On the web pages, you apply through the web pages like I showed you earlier. The applicant portal, what is it? So as soon as you apply, you will then, I could share my screen to demonstrate this a bit better. So when you're in the course web page like we were, as soon as you get into the course like graphic design, apply now, click on September, for example, then you'll make an account and you would then upload your academic documents, etc. And the great thing is that you can also upload your portfolio as well. So portfolios are generally quite big files. The great thing is that our system takes it. So where email might not be able to, you can upload them on the portal. And yeah, you can apply for accommodation through here. There's all sorts of things. I don't want to get too technical, but we've got a great portal to help you with your application. And any problems, let me know about that. I'll quickly go over this. This is once you get your unconditional offer. We've got a cutting edge system that helps you to get your confirmation of acceptance of studies number, which you need for your visa. And we have a really good system that a lot of universities actually don't have this. It's being piloted, and we're one of the first universities to start that for CAS Shield. So it cuts out emails, everything's in one place on the portal. You can communicate through the portal as well through messaging, instant messaging, rather than emails. So yeah, it's a bit technical in terms of, I don't want to go into too much detail, but just to let you know, we do have something that really helps out with getting your visa moving, getting that application moving. I've gone over academic requirements, so we'll skip over that. Portfolio requirements, they are required, like I said, for all the master's courses that we have and all the pre-masters that we offer as well. If anyone's thinking of doing architecture or a Master of Architecture or a PhD, any of you thinking of doing that, just let me know after the session and I'll go into more detail about those subjects. But I'm not sure if any of you want to know a bit more about that, so I'm not going to say anything in case I'm just saying it to nobody. So just let me know afterwards and I'll go into more detail if you need to. If you need some advice, portfolio advice, a good place to start would be to go on to Google and write University for the Creative Arts portfolio advice, and it will take you to a search result, and you can see it on YouTube as well as on our website as well. Nice short video that gives you a general idea of what you need in a portfolio. After you've done that, if you need any more advice, just get in touch with me and I'll see what I can do in terms of sending you some material, etc. So we'll skip over that because you all have the English required, studying at AUC, of course. International tuition fee rates. Please ignore the top 2 boxes here. We're just looking at the ones here down here. So for all the masters, with the exception of MBA, MBM, which are the business ones, and the MA filmmaking and MA luxury luxury brand management, all of the masters, and not the MFA either, are this price. So I mean, I'll just leave you to glance over that. There's a bit of detail there. Generally, the courses cost around 18,000. If you pay in full, that's per year. If you pay in full before the end of the enrollment, so if you're starting in September 2021 and you paid your master's course, it's a 1-year course. If you paid that in full before the end of the enrollment period, which is in September, you'd get a 4% discount. We also have a lot of other scholarships actually running for September, and the university is being really generous with the scholarships. A lot of availability and a lot of choice as well. We have ones for different courses. So if you are going to apply, send me an email and let me know, and then we can talk through the different courses that I can offer, that we can offer at UCA, the different scholarships, sorry, for different courses. And we also have 10 allocated spaces for students from Egypt. So we've got, for Middle East, we've got Egypt, Lebanon, and Jordan. But you guys obviously from Egypt, 10 spaces for a £3,000 scholarship on your master's degree. That's obviously, you'll have to apply and the academics will look at your portfolio and grades, but that's something that is available. And we have another one, also £3,000 for the year, and that's open to all students from everywhere, but there's a 250 spaces for that one. So we have quite a few different scholarships. We've got an early bird scholarship. It's not really a scholarship, it's more of a discount. And that's if you pay your deposit early, your tuition fee deposit in, I think it's March or April, then you get £2,000 off. Now, none of the scholarships can be combined, but they can all be combined with the 4% discount. So if you're interested in applying, obviously when you apply, only then can you apply for a scholarship. So if you want to apply, let me know, send me a message. I'll give you my details at the end, and I can see what we've got on offer to give you. Accommodation, the main thing to talk about accommodation is that we are not in central London, so your accommodation living costs will be substantially lower than a university in the middle of London. We're just outside, so you've got the best of both worlds. You can go into London when you need to, but you're far enough away to enjoy the clean air, the nice surroundings of, you know, parks, etc., green spaces, and also the lower living costs. So if you just look at the postgraduate, this is the range, and the range, the prices here are dependent on the different bands of accommodation at the different campuses. And you can see it also ranges from campus to campus, the prices. So we'll ignore that. I talked about scholarships as well. If you do a master's with us and you decide to progress on to a PhD, for example, if you got a distinction in your master's, you would be eligible for £3,000 discount to go on to a PhD, and £2,000 discount if you did not get a distinction. And the rest there, well, if you did a pre-master's and then go on to a master's, that's 1,500 off your course for master's. The other two there are for the lower levels undergraduate, so not to concern you. International summer school. So this one, this one is going to go online. So some of this information, this information here was current before it had gone online. So I mean, if anyone's interested in the summer school, these are the prices here. Those are the dates. It's going to be an online experience this year, but it's in July. If anyone's interested, just let me know and I'll direct you to the right place for that. The different subject areas are here. So a lot of different subject areas you can go into: fashion, multimedia, film production, for example. We offer study abroad, so that's for students to have the opportunity to study abroad as a fully recognized and accredited part of your degree course. We have collaborative links with partner institutions in Europe and USA, and usually lasts between 3 to 5 months. So not sure if that would be possible for a master's actually, but it might be. So if you're interested, let me know. but it's usually something we offer to undergrads, so we'll skip over that. And for our graduates, they've gone on to amazing places like Apple, BBC, British Film Institute, Channel 4, Gucci, Topshop, Versace, Vogue, Ralph Lauren, just to name a few. And our alumni, we have the creator of Where's Wally. He was an alumni of UCA, so Martin Hanford. In America, he's known as Where's Waldo. So I'm not sure, Where's Wally, that's a very British way of talking about this comic or whatever it is, not sure, little booklet, I'm sure you all have recognized it. Gareth Edwards, the director of Star Wars Rogue One, he was an alumni of UCA. Will McGregor, he did a Bachelor of Digital Film and Screen Arts in 2010 in Farnham, and his credits include Poldark and Misfits, famous shows in the UK, and he's on the right there. Dame Zandra Rhodes, a globally renowned fashion designer, also an alumna of UCA, and Scott Dawkins, he did a BA Computer Animation Arts in Rochester 2008, and he's now a visual effects compositor working on a range of big budget films, including Star Wars franchise. Someone to mention that isn't on these slides actually, Tracy Emin, a very famous artist, also an alumna of UCA. And this one you may not recognize, but it's a very famous advert in the UK. It's for price comparison website for insurance, and it's for some reason there are meerkats in it, and they're Russian. And the creator of this this mascot went to UCA. So interesting there. You may or may not have seen this, but yeah. Online demo classes. So we've got a great range of online demo classes and webinars that we have on our website, and I'll show you exactly where to find those, and I'll share the link as well. Now, these are interactive sessions. The demo classes are. The webinars are more informative, and these are run by our academics. So a great way to get to know about the courses, and I will show you where on our website you can find those. I'll share the link with you. So I'm just going to get it from my bookmark. So if I share this link in the chat, if you just bear with me while I find the chat box. All right, I'll put that in there. So that is the link there. Now, when you do get into that link, you can go on November, which is obviously the month we're in now. So coming to the end of November, so we've got here, there's an admissions Q&A if anyone wants to know more about the admissions process. Communication design, that's tomorrow at, I believe that will be midday Cairo time. And these ones have passed, but December, not sure if they've updated it yet. Oh, they have. They've started to update it. So we've got fine art, that's 16th of December, and interior architecture, 14th of December. And then you can see here throughout, they are planning to do more throughout next year, but they haven't been updated yet, of course. So have a look at those. We also have, scroll down there, recorded webinars. So if you don't find what you need, just go into the recorded webinars, and I'm sure you'll find there's a big bank of recordings there, which I'm sure you'll find useful about the course. And let me also just share the postgraduate course finder as well before I forget. So if you click on this link, you can then find any course. You could filter down more by going on subject, maybe clicking on film, for example, and filtering it down more. So that's pretty much the end of the presentation. So let me just make that a bit bigger, just so you've got my details there. I'll put those in the chat as well. Just bear in mind that when this meeting finishes, the Zoom meeting, everything will disappear. So I would encourage you to take down all the links that I share, my phone number, my email, as soon as I put them up. Obviously, if you do lose them, please do get in touch with Caroline, who I'm sure would be happy to help. So just before we open up to questions, I'm going to put my my phone number and email address in the chat box. And I'm also contactable on WhatsApp. So let me just put those in, and then we can open up to some questions if you have any. And I just look up my number, which I should probably know by now, but I haven't memorized it yet, so just bear with me. Just checking that's correct, no mistakes. That's it. All right. So does anyone have any questions, anything you'd like to ask? Please do unmute yourselves, or yep, go ahead, Hisham.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. That was a really interesting presentation.
That's all right.